let's talk about the black pill. Let's talk about the black pill community. And instead of criticizing their thoughts, let's talk about what they get right. Now, I'm an older coach. I didn't start coaching until I hit my 40s. And the reason why I did that was I wanted to make sure that I had as much experience and I was as good at game as I possibly could get. Unlike most of the coaches out there that are mostly frauds, that jump into it and they focus on marketing and they fake it till they make it, and they try to make money to prop up a scam sort of lifestyle that they have. I genuinely and honestly waited until my 40s to decide to become a coach because I didn't think I was ready, which is the total opposite to most guys. And so what I want to do is I want to talk about the black pill. This is something that most dating coaches won't talk about, and the reason why they won't talk about it is it goes against their business model. But I think that it matters. I also think that it doesn't necessarily have to go against their business model. We can just be honest about what the stats are. So anyway, before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS, novel dating advice for the modern man. Click on my website, check out my articles. I've got an unbelievable amount of articles out there, and there's so much information, so many videos as well. And so the black pill, what does it get right? Now, looks do matter. They matter very much. Some women will literally date, or even in some cases marry a dude based on his looks, even though he's a bad person. This is why you'll find that so many women they'll say, oh, all men are awful, all men are bad. It's because they're picking a guy based on his looks, and he's a bad person, but she's choosing the looks over everything else. And so the looks do matter. If you're a really good-looking guy, you are going to have the ability. It doesn't mean that you're able to, because you might not do anything about it. You might not take advantage of your opportunities, but you'll have the opportunity to get the best, hottest, you'll have the pick of what you want, basically. Now, looks do matter. Height matters as well. Height can matter both ways. You can be too tall. You can be too short. You want to be in a sweet spot. You can be average to under average. And it also depends on the experience of the girl. Does she want a really tall guy or not? It's complicated, but to simplify it, if you're too short, you're in a lot of trouble. You're gonna need to really hack this. If you're unattractive, if you're overweight, that's in your control. There's a lot of things that are in your control. There's so many things that you can do to looks max and improve your appearance. So if you're overweight, that's your fault. If you're just unattractive in general, if it's a race thing, because the race pill, that does matter. That matters as well. Like at the moment, because of mainstream media, if you're in Asia and you're a Korean guy, because of K-pop being so popular, you're going to have a massive advantage in every country because you're Korean. If you're a white guy, on average, but our status is slipping. If you're a Chinese guy, your status is on the rise. If you're a gringo, a white American dude, and you are in South America, I think, are close to the top tier over there in America. But that's not what it works. It doesn't work like that over here in Asia at all. When it comes to like Indian girls from the subcontinent, brown girls, if you are brown yourself, you are the top tier. You have an advantage. So a Chinese guy doesn't have an advantage, and a white guy doesn't have an advantage if he goes to Delhi in India. It just doesn't work that way. Okay? So that matters as well. Now, money, like as long as you can feed yourself and you've got a roof over your head and you're not totally destitute, my experience, money doesn't matter that much. it matters at the top and the bottom. If you're too broke, you're in trouble. If you're too rich, she's going to see the money over everything else that you've got. I think that's a black pill concept as well. Because even if she likes you, if she finds out that you're loaded, then she's going to see that over everything else and kind of ignore the fact that you are an awesome guy and you're attractive. Covered looks, height, age. Age is probably the last one left. If you are, depending on her age, if you're a little bit too young, like let's just say she's 18 and she's gone clubbing and she's met a few guys that are in their 20s and they've taken her home, and you're 18, you're too young, you're in trouble. If you're too old, the older you get, it negatively affects your results. It really does. So these factors all matter. They're all important. They all matter. Now we have that information. What you do is you gather all that information, and what we do now is we try to find like non-crowded, weak points in the systems that you can exploit. We want to try and find a sweet spot that you can exploit. And I'm not talking about dating apps, because all of the exploitation through dating apps and social media, you can throw money at that problem, and there's a lot of guys doing that. There's a lot of nerds doing that, and they can do it from their bedroom. That's not something that we want to compete in, because it's highly competitive. We want to find less competitive sweet spots, weak points in the system that you can exploit, taking into account the disadvantages that you may or may not have. Now, people talk about passport bros, but passport bros and geomaxing, it's still very valuable, but things are changing. Now, the United States geopolitically is in free fall. Countries like Britain, Germany, and France, they're collapsing. And when those countries totally collapse, the status of their men will collapse too. And so therefore, if you're a British, German, French, American, Australian, Canadian, your status will fall with your economy, while rising nations, the men from those countries, will rise with it. So I predict that South Korea will be destroyed soon, whether it's just economically, but if they mess around, they might get actually destroyed by North Korea. I would say on the rise will be Russian men and Chinese men. You see, so you go into the club, you will tell a girl that you're from Russia, and the girl will go, "Oh wow, Russia." When a decade ago, if you said you're from America, the girl would be really impressed, or Australia. Now, Australia might hold its status a little bit longer because we're further away and we don't have as much immigration, and our economy is holding up probably the best out of the Western world, just because we're further away and we're an island. Now, so these things matter. All of it matters. Geomaxing matters. Now, the men within each society, if you're a Western man watching this and you're thinking, okay, I need to geomax or passport bro, well, what you need to think about is, what is the government in my country thinking? Do they care about immigration? Do they care about the living standards of their people? Or are they trying to defend the dollar and trying to defend the economy while building the military-industrial complex? I think you should start to think about it that way. And that's why geomaxing works, when really it's economic geo-passport growing simultaneously. It's multiple things in one. Now, with all of that said, looks do matter, your age matters, your height matters, your race matters. Now, finally, I would say your IQ matters. Do you learn? Do you watch a video like this and think, this is a high IQ video, and I'm going to go get coaching with this guy because he's thinking through the problem in depth more than other people? Or do you think, I'm just going to watch a flashy, well-edited video and go get coaching over there and get hyped up? Well, go get hyped up and then go back to your life. Or you can sign up and do some coaching with someone like myself that will think about it in depth, give you more time and effort than most other coaches out there, and try to solve your problems. that's gonna require you to take a lot of effort and planning and invest in it and consistency. You see, and so you got to ask yourself: are you willing to put in the time and effort to do so? If not, then you might get the same results as everybody else. Okay, and so this is where you're at. When you recognize the reality of the situation that you're in, the reality of the world, then you realize that you're going to have to do something about it, and it's not going to be that easy. Also, by the way, the caveat here is that people do get lucky all the time. There's a lot of guys out there that get lucky all the time, and I've seen it because I've coached these guys. Literally day one would get really lucky, get a girl that's way out of their mate value, way out of their league, and pull on day one. So there are a lot of things that you can do, and it's going to require a lot of time and effort. So we need to just acknowledge the realities of each of the problems and then figure out how to solve them. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what I want to talk about. And this is what the Blackpill gets right. I might not agree with everything that the Blackpill talks about. I don't think the jawline matters that much. I don't think the face looks as the look of the face and things like that matter as much as the Blackpill guys think it does. I think that a lot of the attractive, the height and a lot of the, how attractive you are can be overcome with game. I do believe that, and I think that I am a good representation of someone who's overcome that and gets a lot of good results despite being old, short, a little bit pudgy, a little bit overweight, you know what I mean, disabled, etc. And I've got the results to say it, to pitch it. I've got more results on this channel than most other coaches worldwide. So anyway, I've rambled. The Blackpill gets a lot of things right, and I think we need to acknowledge that. And the more these coaches ignore that, the more credibility they lose every single day.